Hi, loveys. How are we tonight? I'm so sorry I'm late. I was over at Auntie Deb's house and I was watching the Meredith stream. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Ma'am, do you have your own show? And Auntie said, oh, I'm teleporting humans to you. And then I figured, oh, she's got to put on some nails because I use these. Do you know these, babe? Don't go get your nails done. Okay. If you're a baller on a budget, if you're what they refer to in these streets as a Timu Mrs. Parks, you're pressing on those nails, babe. All day long. Okay. So today was day 3, Commonwealth V Read. And what a day it was. There was some bombshells that I felt were dropped by one Mr. Hank Brennan, and he was trying to pull a fast one on our girl Karen with the video clips. And I think that it's going to backfire, babes. What do you think? I watched them. I saw them all. And if we go back and turn back the hands of time, we're going to remember that Ronnie, our juror, our favorite bow-tied brother, he was like, we figured that they filled in the gaps of the Commonwealth's theory. And they did it because of alcohol. And Karen was there. Officer John Okeefe was there. And then Officer John Okeefe was tragically found unresponsive the next morning. So I think giving that context and providing that information to the jury without Karen testifying is game changing. Just in my opinion. Oh, hi, Iceman 2.0. I was there. I was at Auntie's house. That's why I'm late at my own house. Typical. Oh, no worries. Hi, loveys. Thank you for showing. Colleen B. It's not me, babe. You know what it is? It's a ring. It's the light cam from the back. There's this ring light, and then I got the webcam. Who is she? We don't know. Oh, hi, Mrs. Parks. Kimmy, tell all the loveys about the real Timu person I keep sending you photos of. This week, I'm going to keep count of this trial. We are up to 3 Timu Erin. Parksy keeps texting me and saying, where in the world is Erin O'Keefe? And she was there on day 1, but since then, we've had quite a few replacements, including the infamous Bella's mom. And there was a song that came to mind for me, and I think for many of you, and it was Bella's mom has got it going on. She's pretty. She is pretty. I got to tell you something right now. If Mr. Nurse Kim was in the neighborhood of Bella's mom, I might have some questions. You know, I might be saying a couple of things. Where are you? Are you trying to play hide the salam? Ho ho! Not on my watch, good sir. Oh, and Ash knows. Yes, a songstress. Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much, Kate. Stop it. Stop it. She's just a little delusional nurse. Your Merrimack Valley friendly nurse. Oh my gosh, babes, I have to. Oh, show you. Oh, I'll show you. Oh, I'll show you. All right. Miss Jess NB. Hubba hubba. I don't mean to be egregious here, my love, but I love that picture. That's a new picture, and that is fantastic, you know? That is making that's it makes me want a melon. Like, I'd be interested in maybe cantaloupe, potentially a what's the green one? Cantaloupe, but just melon? Yeah, love it. You look beautiful. Ooh, substantial. Yes. Fantastique. A fantastique one. Yes. Okay. We will show as soon as she is upon us today, but we have to get to we're going to go back. We're going to turn back the hands of the time because yesterday I was extraterrestrial. Okay? Was it related to this case? No. It was related to the agita that I got from my 2 teenage daughters. It happens. Okay? Sometimes your girl is like, "Oh," in real life. Which I am all day, every day. But, like, regarding the kids, I was like, "Oh, she can't be everywhere. I can't. I try, can't do it." So, I would like to clone myself. In the next life, I shall clone me. Stop it. Are you kidding me? Sorry, lovies. So, I just had technical issues, and on top of it, I went mute. What is happening? Why? What will I do? I've asked Tiny Jesus to come through for us. I know he loves us, but this is horrendous. Okay, listen to me. I don't know what you heard and what you didn't, but I got invited back to Court TV. I'm going on tomorrow night. Then what will happen? Will I be perseverating all over again? Absolutely. 110%. Oh, we're muted. Oh, Loveromi just said you muted. Oh gosh. So yeah, we're going back on. We're going to do it. We're going to just say, listen, we're going to be the representatives. Lovies, we need to rep because it is incredible to be on YouTube. But if we can sneak our way in, if we can do a little non-consensual mainstream media, we got Karen Reeds to free. We don't have time. I'm not going to be a picky bitch. Who am I? Who am I to say, no, I don't want to hang out with Vinny. I'll hang out with Vinny. I just can't look him in the eye because you want to know why? I get confused. It's piercing. It makes me just think about things and I say, "Oh, I think he thinks Karen's innocent. And then I start having like a dialogue in my brain about how he'd like to go see the ducks in downtown Boston. Potentially, I could take him on a duck tour, a duck boat. I don't know. What the duck? I don't know. I digress. Okay. So, Kiki, that's where I go. I only go to Vinny's house, not his house, but his show. I'm not going anywhere else. But if you invite, I shall join. So I'm going to be there, babe. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, Larry, we're going to have to do spaces later. That'll be good. We'll do a spaces after. Okay. I digress. Okay. So back to Tuesday. Let's roll back the hands of time and back to not to Tuesday, to Wednesday, which was day 2 of Commonwealth V Read. And I'm going to start us on the recross of Kerry Roberts, because when I tell you, loveys, I clutched my pearls so tight, almost ripped them off my body. I clenched my butthole. I did 3 sets of 62 Kegels. You couldn't stop me. Can't tell me shit. This was magic. This was a masterclass by Alan Jackson. And when I say that this impeachment of Kerry Roberts, who came off as such like a completely different person this trial than she did in 1.0, I was like so sympathetic to her. I still am. I do still believe that she absolutely loves John. I have better feelings about her than I do about other people. But this was like just night and day. And to find out about the emails and the communication with the DA's office, I was not prepared. And to find out and to put together our own timeline of their timeline was wild. So we're going to do a little compare-y and contrast-y to what she said, what our homegirl, Jennifer McCabe, said, and what actually was said also by Kerry in 1.0. Let's get into it. Day 2, Commonwealth v. Read 2.0. Rock and roll. Hoochie coo.
Troopers indicated, correct? If there's anything further you should recall that would be useful, please provide that information.
Object.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes.
Oh, yep, this was just the sidebar. Hold on, I know this. And then we're going to move it right here. It was 58 I meant to get to.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sorry, loveys. Hold on. It's coming. Oh, TikTok. Oh, Kerry.
So the two of you drew out some sort of a timeline for you to follow during the course of that interview. Is that right?
For me to follow what?
During the course of that February 1st interview, as you were interviewed in Ms. McCabe's house. I mean, that was the purpose of the timeline, to help you with that interview.
Oh, Lord.
No, that wasn't the purpose of the timeline.
You used it for that purpose, though.
Wait a minute, guys. Hold
You
on.
did
Stay
not.
there. Oh, man.
I was at Jen's house making a timeline, and the 2 officers showed up to interview her. I just happened to be there.
Right. And when they interviewed you, did you have that timeline in front of you? That's my question.
No, I did not.
Okay. But you had just created it along with Jennifer McCabe.
Some of it.
Okay. And then it was after that that this timeline was coordinated between the two of you that you actually told your second story to Trooper Prince. And when I say second story, I mean as of the second time you were interviewed on February 1st as opposed to January 29th. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you ever become aware of text messages that Jennifer McCabe was sending to others in a group chat talking about you in that interview?
Okay, loveys, while I pray to God, okay, while I ask for 4 small favors from 3 blind mice, let's answer Debbie Blair's question, okay? And she outed Denise. Does everyone know who Denise is? Tell me. Do you know? Because she is the sister of Jennifer McCabe and Nicole Albert. Now, how in the world, where in the world did we get Denise in the picture? That is wild to me. So now we have a third Weeks sister that is in somehow helping who was not present at 34 Fairview on January 29th, 2022. Does that strike your funny bone weird? D nice. Oh, the keeper of records. What Kate says, right? Wild. Yeah. Okay. So this is not just, absolutely. This is odd to me, babes, because we had never known this previously. And I wonder how a person who was not present, who we will find out, and we did know already from trial 1.0, that this was all at the behest of whom? Of Mrs. Okeefe. But why? Who, what, where, when, why, and how? It should have been 100% disfavored, or not disfavored, but like dissuade by the Mass State Police upon learning of them working together and creating a timeline. You're not an investigator, ladies. I know you might play one on TV. I know you've watched enough episodes of Snapped. So have I. But what I will say is it's weird, and it's gonna make you guys look odd. Very odd to a jury. And I feel like the whole vibe of 2.0 is much different than 1.0. Let's get into it. Keep going, Kerry. Please, please, no voodoo dolls. Go. Once for good looking.
No.
Oh.
You were never told or became aware that she sent text messages to a group as she listened in on your interview?
No, I don't think she could listen in. She wasn't anywhere near me.
You weren't aware that are you aware as you sit here that she sent a text message that said she's telling them everything,
Objection.
all the stuff?
Sustained.
All right, stay.
Have you ever been provided a text message or told about a text message that perhaps Jennifer McCabe was sending to a group?
No.
Listening to your suggesting that she was listening to your interview?
No.
The third time you told your story was later that night in a telephonic interview. Is that right? With Trooper Proctor?
I requested to speak to Trooper Proctor because I had remembered the very first time I spoke with Karen that morning, and I wanted to make sure it was recorded.
Okay, that wasn't my question. My question was, Did you have another telephonic conversation with Trooper Proctor? Yes or no?
You said that night, but it wasn't that night.
When was it?
I think it was earlier that day.
Okay. Meaning, but it was after the interview with Trooper Prince.
I don't think so.
I think it was beforehand.
I think it was beforehand.
You were still with Jennifer McCabe when that call took place, correct?
I was in her house. I was not with her. I stepped away to speak to him by myself.
Oh,
In her home at 12 Country Lane.
Correct.
Who else was with you other than?
now does that not strike us odd, Loveys? What are you doing giving freaking interviews at another witness's house? Like, all of this shit makes your head spin. And she's like, oh no, it wasn't later. It was just like, I just did it with her at her house, and her sister was documenting it. Did she make a vision board? Was this a screenplay? I have questions.
Other than Jennifer McCabe in the house?
Her sister was there writing down the timeline for
Who's
us.
that?
Her sister, Denise.
Denise? So she was scribing the timeline as you and Jennifer McCabe were creating
She
it?
was writing it down as we were remembering things.
Right. And the three of you were doing this together, sort of communally.
Yes.
Oh,
She would say something, then you would say something, then it would spark something that she would say, and back and forth, correct?
Yes.
How is it that Trooper
okay. And I'm not going to stop anymore. I'm going to let it just play until the spicy gets, until a couple of seconds. But listen, does it not? I don't understand how none of them think this is weird. And I get that it's like, this is Canton. This is deep state Massachusetts corruption from MSP and local cops and culture and a subculture. I get all of it. But the fact that you said out of your mouth that we were doing a timeline together with people that were not present, we're talking all the shit, we're getting our story together, and we're presenting it because why? We all weren't even having the same experience. And they think this is normal. Like, Jennifer McCabe's information would be 100% different than Kerry Roberts because they experienced the night before, Friday night and into Saturday, completely different. Their experiences were all independent. And yet each of you are egging each other on of like, oh yeah, I don't think you told him that. Who the fuck are you to know that? You shouldn't know any information that was provided by one witness to an investigator in the death of Officer John Okeefe. None of you should be privy to anyone else's info, in my opinion. And I don't know, per gold standards of care and not of care, but like best practice and what is legal and policy and procedure. This isn't like a mock trial, guys. This is real life. No one's playing a game of friggin' Clue.
Proctor got a hold of you? Did you call him or did he call you?
I think he was on the phone with Jen and I asked to speak to him.
So Trooper Proctor got a hold of you through talking to Jen McCabe.
Well, I asked to speak to him, but yes.
Right. Was that interview recorded to your knowledge?
No.
I don't know.
The fourth time you met with police was February 2nd, the very next day at about 12:08 p.m. Is that right?
I don't remember.
Do you remember signing a consent form for your phone?
Yes.
Was that the next day after this interview with Trooper Prince and Trooper?
I don't know
Keith?
what day it was. It was right after Karen was arraigned for the first time. Jen and I met with them and both handed our phones over willingly.
Ooh, that
just
was a
answered my
dig.
question. So when you met with police, whatever the date was, it was a few days later, you met with police yet a fourth time, you were still in the presence of Jennifer McCabe when you met with police
Yes.
and handed your phone over. Is that right?
Yes.
She handed her phone over. Is that right?
Yes.
And the two of you were together when you signed your consent forms. Is that right?
Yes.
No, babes.
The fifth time you told your
We didn't just win, a freaking cruise to Aruba. Okay. This isn't a call in Kiss 108 and you won 2 tickets to go see Lady Gaga at fucking Fenway. This is an actual murder trial. This was an investigation into somebody who is your friend. And this is so not above board. I can't stand it. It gives me the fucking ick hearing about it more in depth this time.
story was in front of a grand jury. Is that right?
I don't know.
Do you remember testifying in front of a grand jury?
I do.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Before you testified at that grand jury, just physically, you were brought into an anteroom where you waited to be called by ADA Adam Lowley, correct?
Yes.
Who was in that anteroom with you just before you gave your testimony?
My husband and Jen and Matt McCabe.
Oh.
So Jennifer McCabe was with you yet again just before you gave official testimony under oath concerning this case and concerning the incident.
Correct.
Ms. Roberts, when was the last time you've spoken to Jennifer McCabe before you testified in this trial?
This morning.
Okay. And this is when I physically left my own body, and you know what came next.
John Ralphio?
Oh. Loveys. I get that you guys are friendly, right? I get that you've gone through a traumatic event. And I'm not taking anything from anyone about how you process or handle trauma, but this feels gossipy. This feels like the Real Housewives of Canton. This feels like we stick together and we're going to make it work. This is how this comes off to someone who is not a South Shore native, to someone who is not a Cantonite or whatever. I don't know if they're Cantonians. I don't know what the fuck. But this makes a mockery, in my opinion, that you are speaking to somebody and not a witness victim advocate. You're not talking to Steve Nelson, babe. You're not talking to somebody who you should, maybe your mother, a priest. You're speaking to another witness in this case whom you had no relationship with other than meeting her one time at the Hilly because Officer John Okeefe took you and her and the kids out to get some new kicks at Reebok. It feels... It just gives you a gut feeling of like, what? And I've never heard in all of the years, babes, when I tell you that I have watched literally court TV since court TV was a thing. Like, I remember it being the year of our Lord, I believe 1997. I'm down where? West Dennis, my Nana's Cape House. I am a small child on the floor like this, watching a trial. I'm an oddball. You know this. I don't recall anything like this coming out regarding witnesses and the extent into which they have their tentacles in everything that each other are doing as it relates to these core. I'm not saying clearly, I'm not referring to, like medical examiners and the hospital staff. I'm not referring to that. I'm just referring to the core group of who was at Fairview Road on January 29th, 2022, and who came or was back there in the morning when Officer John Okeefe was unfortunately found on the lawn.
Did you discuss your testimony?
No,
So you and Miss McCabe, who became friends because
Correct.
of this incident,
correct,
talked as recently as this morning before your testimony.
correct.
And your testimony now is that you did not discuss anything about what you're doing here
No,
or what you're
I
going to
did
testify
not. She
to.
called to wish me good luck today.
When did you talk to her the last time before this morning?
I don't know, maybe a couple of days ago. I don't remember.
Within days of you taking the stand yesterday, correct?
Yes,
Did you ever
Hold on with me. There it is.
Ms. Roberts, I'm going to ask you,
I don't get it.
to take a look at, actually, let me ask it a different way. Did you say that you did or did not recall texting with Jen McCabe during the course of that January 29th interview with state police? Do you recall that or no?
She does not.
no.
Okay.
During the interview, I didn't text anybody.
Okay. Are you saying you didn't text anybody or you don't recall?
I don't recall. I don't think I had I wouldn't be texting somebody if I was being interviewed by the state police.
Right. Okay. Would it refresh your recollection to take a look at a report of text messages?
Sure.
May I approach you?
Yes.
Oh, they're just doing their little, yep, okay, here we go. We're going, guys. Don't worry. Oh, okay, I'm going to play a little media. Let's play a little of this so that we can just live our...
You testified at the grand jury on...
Wait, what?
I be looking fresh with them fed watching. I be looking fresh with them fed watching. I be looking fresh with them fed watching. New whip, yeah. Two dogs, Toto.
Toto.
April 26th, is that right? April 26th, 2022?
I do not know.
Right?
Well, wait. Hold on. Let's just get right here, babes. I'm so sorry. I want the exchange between
Permission.
AJ.
Do you have a ring camera?
I do.
Do you know if there's a difference between the actual physical camera and the iCloud storage that keeps the actual video on it?
I don't know.
This makes
The
me
difference.
enraged.
Did you ever ask to replace any hard drives or storage, or were you asked to replace the camera itself?
Just the camera.
And that was in March 7, 2000.
Oh, Sharon, why you lost, babe? Tell me how you lost, my babe. I want to bring you back. So this is when they were talking about Kerry speaking with the DA's office, right? Norfolk DA's office. And she is like emailing back and forth as the conduit. I almost feel, and forgive me for saying it, but it almost feels like, oh, Kerry, we're going to have you email back and forth in case somebody wants to look through maybe another witness's emails, because Kerry might have been the least suspect, or not suspect, but like the least person, the last person you would have thought in the group would have been Kerry, because she wasn't even there allegedly at the time of the incident, right? At 12:32 a.m., which originally was 12:45 a.m. Okay. So she's reaching out 50 times, and she was asked, this is to the Norfolk DA's office in one capacity or another. And Hank Brennan is asking right now. He goes, he was talking to her about the Okeefes. She got permission for them to change part of the ring camera at One Meadow, Officer John O'Keefe's house.
2023?
I don't know when.
You were asked questions about what the defendant said that morning when you were trying to help Mr. Okeefe.
Yes.
You were asked whether you heard any comments about her, from her, about dropping
Oh,
John off.
Say that one more time.
You were asked whether you heard any comments about her saying she dropped him off.
In the car on the way to the hospital.
Okay.
She said it to Mrs. Okeefe.
When you were outside trying to help John, were you ever told where the defendant dropped John off?
No.
Were you ever told where he was left?
No.
Was it ever suggested that he went into 34 Fairview?
No.
Was it ever suggested that he went into any house whatsoever that morning?
No.
Were you ever?
this was so slimy. This was the slimiest shit, one of the most slimiest shit from Hank Brennan, in my opinion, guys, because he knows damn right well that when Karen said, I dropped him off at 34 Fairview or at the party, she did not mean that she dropped him off or, you know, at just outside, and that he wasn't supposed to go and see anyone or be inside. That is absolutely absurd to even try to insinuate that. And this, my friends, is what actually Kerry Roberts said last trial. That is number, which one? The 32. Oh, here it is. 45, this one.
Correct?
Yes.
And during either that drive or the subsequent drive from Braintree to Brockton, who, if anyone else, did you speak to over the phone?
And Karen called me repeatedly from the ambulance asking if I was going to come to the hospital. Then she called when the O'Keefes were in the car and said she dropped him off at a party. And Mrs. O'Keefe said, you just left him? And Mr. O'Keefe said, leave her alone. She's been through enough. She called a few times while we were on the ride. And then she called a lot when we were at the hospital asking if I knew anything, if he was dead, is he dead? She would hang up and then call back, hang up and then call back.
And if you know about how many times was it?
At least 10.
And that same sort of phraseology that she was using on scene as far as his death, she repeated that in the phone calls at the hospital.
Yes.
Now,
All right, lovies. So that is what Karen Reed said. That is Kerry's account of this, the first trial in 1.0. And it is interesting because Mrs. O'Keefe got up on the stand for the first time. And I'll be perfectly clear, it was heartbreaking. And I believe that the Okeefe family has endured more loss with the loss of their daughter, Kristen, with glioblastoma, brain cancer. And then her husband, Steve, just 2 months later, almost to the day. And then to lose Officer John Okeefe, I cannot imagine. Truly. And that deserves the respect and reverence, in my opinion. And that's how I address how I'm going to address it. But how it was conveyed by Kerry in the first trial is very different than how she recounted it in 2.0. And then when Mrs. Okeefe got on the stand, there was no recollection of Mr. Okeefe saying, hey, take it easy on her. She's gone through enough today. It was just like cold or cut off. And you understand because of the situation they are in now. But was it that way on January 29th as well?
Ever asked to go into the house to look for him?
No.
Jesus.
When you were being when you were being interviewed,
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we all pick up on that little nugget? When you were being interviewed. Oh, Hank. You said the quiet part out loud. And it wasn't just me who picked it up. Freudian slip much? Oh, you might have a back injury from that slip, my guy.
interviewed by law enforcement, did you ever refuse to be interviewed?
No.
Were the interviews all the same or different?
They were all different. They were all different.
Were you ever asked to give a complete review and detail of everything that you knew?
I was just asked to tell me the story of what happened that morning.
And at some point when you were interviewed, you were asked about the phone calls that the defendant made to you that morning at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
When you received those phone calls, Jennifer McCabe was not on the line, was she?
No.
Was she a
Oh,
party to the calls?
No.
Did she influence your memory in any way about the
Yes.
words that the defendant spoke to you that morning?
I'll allow that. No.
Do you have a clear memory of what the defendant said to you on the morning of January 29th, 2022 at around 5 in the morning when she first called you?
Yes.
Is it your independent memory?
I'm saying
Is it
Sorry.
your independent memory?
yes.
How well do you remember it?
Sustained.
Tell us what you remember her saying to you.
I'll allow it.
When she first called, she said, John's dead, Kerry, and hung up.
And she called you back.
She called back.
When she called back, was there any other party on the line other than you and her?
No.
What do you remember the second time that she called you?
Yes.
oh, she does
She said,
remember.
John, I think he got hit by a plow. He did not come home last night. He would never not have come home. I wasn't supposed to stay in Canton, and Kaylee was here. He would never leave Kaylee by herself.
Did anybody ever ask you to lie
No.
or exaggerate?
No.
Would you?
Say that?
Would you?
No.
Sustained.
Hey, Court TV.
You were asked whether or not you told people on January 29th about the missing pieces to the defendant's taillight. And you began to say you didn't tell anybody that morning.
I didn't think it had anything to do with John. I didn't want to point fingers at anybody
Why not?
because I had no idea what had happened to him. I wasn't going to point fingers at his girlfriend.
Was it in fact broken with missing pieces that morning?
Yes.
You saw the ring video of you and Miss McCabe and the defendant going into John's house?
Yes.
Had you seen that video before today?
Yes.
Had you been shown it before in
Yes.
other proceedings?
Yes.
When you went into the house with Miss McCabe and the defendant, did you do anything before you went into the house, actually in the house?
OMG. Babes, when I tell you this, I almost had a moment, okay? I asked myself, is this a trans-ischemic incident? Am I having a TIA? No, I wasn't. But the sheer duckery that was going on, that Hank Brennan decided to bring back the shoes. She didn't take her shoes off when entering the home in which Karen had been in since 12:36 a.m. the night before. And did nobody think, or maybe I know it's difficult if you're not understanding the concept of this or you dislike Karen Read so much, but how like insulting was it to her that they said, we're going to go back to the house and look when you and his niece were there. You were there the entire time. And you know he is not in the house. But no, we're going to go back and we're going to make sure we look everywhere. Like you're incapable of knowing where your loved one and your significant other is. That would have gone right outside of my my life, okay? That would have caused me some severe agitation. And on top of it, she is panicked. She has anxiety because he didn't come home. She is in a hysteria almost because she has a feeling of impending doom. And you're like, hey, no worries. I'm going to go check the broom closet. Get out of here.
When
You
we took off our shoes and
Oh.
You took off your shoes?
Jen and I both took off our boots
Why did you take off your boots?
because you had to take off your shoes to go into John's house.
Well, you say you had to. Explain to us a little bit of the background on that.
John was a neat freak. You were not allowed to wear shoes in the house.
Had you ever worn shoes in this house?
Oh,
Had you ever seen anybody wear shoes in this house?
no.
Oh,
You and
oh.
They
Miss
do
McCabe?
now. They do now.
I see. You and Miss McCabe took your shoes off?
Yes,
Did the defendant take her shoes off?
she did not,
How do you remember that?
because Jen and I were standing there for about a good 2 minutes trying to get our boots off, and she had already gone in the house.
Do you know why you were called that morning?
No.
Did you volunteer to be part of this
Yes.
after the call?
Yes.
You had said you thought that you looked at the taillight before you went into John's house.
Yes,
Do you remember actually seeing the tail light that morning?
I do.
Was it simply cracked?
No.
Do you know that the portion of the ring video from when you came out of the house with the defendant, Ms. McCabe, do you know that that portion is missing?
Objection.
Sustained.
How dare you, Hank? How dare you, Hank Francis, first of your name, Brennan? That is so dirty, if you ask me. It is not missing. Okay? And now that we know, babes, and let's come close, let's talk some shit. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not missing. The girls misremembered. Okay? I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm sure they looked at her taillight somewhere. But saying it's missing, and my eyes twitching, this upsets me like the rest of the stuff with Hank not doing his summer reading, babes. It's absurd. We know that Trooper Garino told us that the only login for Officer John O'Keefe's Ring camera was via his cell phone. He watched that like a hawk, babes. He knew every time any kid in the neighborhood was cutting through his lawn. He knew when the kids came home, when they left, when there was packages delivered. He knew his shit. Why? He's a cop. No, interestingly enough, one cop at 34 Fairview Road didn't have any security cameras. The lieutenant across the street caught nothing. No one looked at his stuff. No one looked at the footage or asked. They just said, hey, is there any footage on that could be useful that is pointing directly at Brian Albert's house? He goes, no, there isn't. Oh, okay, cool. Just wondering, guys, does it not feel like, is it not giving the same energy as, I don't know, maybe Trooper Fanning interviewing Matthew Farwell and asking, hey, you didn't have anything to do with Sandra Birchmore's death, right, Matt? No, I didn't. And then he's never looked at and never questioned again. What is wrong here? A lot.
Have you ever seen any ring video depicting when the defendant was showing you her missing pieces of taillight that morning?
No.
Despite no video, you certain that you saw it?
Say it again.
Are you certain that you looked at it with the defendant that morning in that driveway?
Objection.
Sustained.
I'd like to play clip 3, please.
Okay.
Oh. These clips sent me to an eclipse.
Objection.
Okay.
Oh, we're approaching. Okay, now Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Where?
Technically,
Yes.
Oh, oops. Oh, I missed it. Son of a gun. I went too far. This was wild.
Was it a story that you told?
No.
A story?
Yes.
It's what happened.
Oh.
Do you wish it was just a story?
objection.
Sustained.
There's no further questions.
Okay, so recross.
Just asked. Just a few minutes ago. Did you ever say that you actually heard that statement about that Google search? And you said no.
Correct.
The question that was posed to you by Mr. Lally was, what, if anything, did she, Miss Reed, ask Miss McCabe while they were sitting in the back of the cruiser that you heard, correct?
I misunderstood the
And
question.
you misunderstood that question?
Yes.
Oh.
What
I
did you
did.
misunderstand about that question?
I didn't
Oh.
know it was that you heard, so I was explaining what happened in the back of the car.
I see. So you just ignored the part, literally, the part of the question where he said, what did you hear her say? That's
I
what your
think the word
testimony
was
is now?
heard, and I didn't hear it. I obviously got the question wrong because I did not hear anybody ask about a Google search.
Well, I know that's what you're saying now. I get that. But when you were asked, what, if anything, did she ask Miss McCabe while they were sitting in the back of the cruiser that you heard, your immediate answer was, at one point, she asked her to Google hypothermia and how long dash Google hypothermia, end quote. Correct?
Correct.
That was your answer,
Yes.
correct?
To a question I misunderstood.
And that was a false statement.
Oh.
Technically.
Technically,
Yes.
you're getting a little
Technically.
bit pregnant, Ms. Roberts.
Okay, so remember,
Technically, you can't be a little bit pregnant, Miss Roberts. In the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit. Why do we talk about pregnancy? Woo! But it was technically incorrect because she misheard what Adam Lally said. Well, babe, that's a very important thing that you misheard, right? I mean, holy shit. Now I would like to maybe go back, turn back the hands of time. Would Karen Reed have been indicted? Because it appears no one remembers much. Not a time, not text messages that were sent, not how many times you got up to go look at Officer John O'Keefe's vehicle, well, Karen Reed's vehicle, and then the last time you claimed was 12:45. And that we remember that Sarah Levinson, the nurse, said that Jennifer McCabe's phone was charging at Brian and Nicole Albert's house. And she remembered that she kept going over to the phone because it was charging. But yet Jen was butt dialing John Okeefe several times in a row right after Karen Reed left the premises. Oh.
Remember, jurors, I said earlier, comments of counsel are not evidence and you have to disregard them. Ask a question.
Thank you, Your Honor. What do you mean technically?
Technically, I was under oath and I did not hear Karen asked Jen to Google it,
And yet under oath,
but I knew it happened at that
and
time.
yet under oath, you said you.
But I knew it happened. How, Kerry? I'm not trying to be rude here, okay? I am just saying, how do you know something happened when you didn't hear it? Because Karen says it didn't happen. And your friend Jen says it did happen. But that's a she said, babe. You don't know shit, to be perfectly clear.
You did.
Correct.
And that was a lie, correct?
Objection.
Was that a lie? Did you lie?
I did not intentionally.
Oh. Was that a lie? Not an intentional lie.
But you did.
And
Not intentionally.
okay, that
And look at this face. That is not a great
That's the
face.
end of
to
Understood
this.
the question, Mr. Jackson.
all right. Is
Oh.
there any other question or was that it?
I didn't know what she just said.
I said I
Look at those
misunderstood
eyes.
the question, Mr. Jackson.
That's what you're saying now, correct?
Oh, come on, Kim's. Please, let's put it to
That's what
normal.
happened.
All right.
Can I ask one more question?
Oh. Hold on, this has
Okay.
to be good.
In that quote, you said,
We have to get this. So whatever it is doing, we're going to tell it. We're going to say, please, tiny infant baby Jesus, help us. Be with us. And let us pray. Wait, I'm going to turn this off. Oh, maybe that was a poor choice. What does ambient mode mean? Does that do anything? Oh, let's try this. Maybe I've been in the Ambien.
at one point she asked her to Google hypothermia and how long. Then you corrected yourself and finished with Google hypothermia. What did you mean by how long? What were you about to say?
I don't recall.
Had someone told you something about a phrase that started with how long?
I don't recall.
Hypothermia?
I don't recall.
Like, for instance, how long to die in cold?
I don't recall.
Oh, okay. Babes, we're just going to have to say that sucks. That sucks because that's not true. That's blatantly true. We know that Kerry knows absolutely Long to die in cold. She has to know that. It's ridiculous to pretend you wouldn't. And yet we find ourselves here. Right? That seems weird. I don't know what you're referring to. Well, I think everyone knows what he's referring to. Okay, ready? What is null? What does that even mean? I don't even know. All right, never mind.
Okay. All right, Ms. McKay. I'm sorry, Ms. Roberts, you're upset.
Thank you.
Oh, Ms. McCabe. Ms. McCabe, thank you very much. I mean, Ms. Roberts. And you hear in the back, who? Jim McDermott laughing. I know it was him. No one's going to tell me it wasn't Jim. Jim goes, ha ha, right? I know his laugh. I know his laugh. Why? Because I know he's the man who bought that seafoam green shower curtain hanging right behind Judge Beverly Cannoni. And he was in an Ambien dream. He made that purchase again via Amazon Prime. He wrote it off on his 2024 taxes via TurboTax.
May I?
Yes.
I'd like to play clip 3.
Your Honor, before this is
Oh.
played, and is it possible to take a quick break so we can review this?
Lovey, what does that mean? Who's telling me that my thing is on the lowest. What does that mean? I don't know. Hi, none your beeswax. Your quality is on the lowest. Is that no? Oh.
There's a lot of clips. I'm not sure what this is. I'd like to see it before it's played.
All right, how long a clip is this?
Probably about 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
All right.
Where is it
jurors,
supposed to
We're going
be?
to ask you to take a break, and we'll bring you back in, and we'll see a 10-second clip. All right, we'll give you a 5-minute break.
Thank you, Ron.
Court, all rise, please.
Oh my God, is that
Jurors,
what was
close your books.
making it bad? Hi, OnlyFan. Hey, babe. I missed you. Everybody, what time is it? 10:13? Are you going to be rocking to the sweet sounds of the OnlyFan later on tonight? I know I will. I believe that she hums gently. Okay? Sometimes I follow the little chain. Brings me joy. Okay. Now, tuck and roll. Here we go. Oh, short break, lunch break, lots of breaks. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. I'm not going to do the entire testimony of Mrs. Okeefe. I do want to say that I feel just my heart breaks for her, and that's all there is to that. I don't want her to have to be up there, and that just sucks. And her son should still be here today.
15 minutes?
Did you see them come back down?
No, I did not.
When they were upstairs, what were you doing?
I was trying to calm the kids.
Both of them?
But yeah, well, mainly Patrick.
Okay, wait. I did want to bring up one thing though. I'm sorry.
In hospital, you were walking down the hallway and you had another interaction with the defendant.
Yes.
And you told us that she was asking if he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe a little bit where in the hospital you had this interaction with her?
When they took us down to the emergency room, the doors open, and there was a corridor to go down to the other rooms, and she was on the left-hand side, and that's when she saw me come in, and that's when she started yelling, "Is he dead, Peg? Is he dead, Peg?"
So when she was yelling, could you describe her mood or demeanor? Was she animated?
She was loud, and I don't know. She was just loud, and she was saying it.
And when she was asking you, is he dead? Is he dead? Did you again ask her a question?
I just asked the nurse, what is she doing here?
Okay. And did you speak?
Okay, babes, I'm just going to say this was a little bit jarring to me. Okay. And I mean this, like, why at this time in the morning would there be a question of why Karen was at the hospital, even if she wasn't there as a patient or if she was there to visit? That was Officer John O'Keefe's like girlfriend, right? And like from the incident that occurred in the car when she was very upset about him being left at a party, and then you have this, it seems like she's wondering why Karen is there. And I was like, okay, I might not be comfortable because I pick up, you guys, are you kidding me? Do I pick up energy? Oh, have my whole life, okay? It is a tragic tale, but I pick up on the energy of others. And if I feel like you do not want me to be around you, I would like to do anything but be around you. Like walking on eggshells or being afraid or being you're in your own sadness, right? You're in your own grief, your PTSD, your trauma. And then somebody is just like stone maybe walling you. And maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying from my perspective, hearing you say, you just left him there. And then the thought that you thought was, what is she doing here? Would not be welcoming in my book.
To mislead herself?
No.
Oh.
No.
At some point, and you and your husband got to see John?
Yes.
And were
Paul,
you with Kerry at some point?
Kerry was there, and then my son Paul was there.
How did you get home?
I think I went home with Paul, and I think my husband went home with Kerry. We went back to Canton at the time.
Do you remember generally the time frame? Was it morning, afternoon, evening?
No, it was morning.
Do you remember getting home that day?
Yep. It was snowy, icy.
Was anybody home when you got
No.
back?
No, it was just us. And then the kids started coming home. And that's when I was trying to, take care of them. And then there was a knock at the door. And it was Karen, her father, and her brother asked if they could come in. And I was just trying to calm the kids because Patrick was just out of control, yelling. And then they came in. And then he said, do you mind if we go upstairs and get a couple of her things? Which I never should have let them go up there. But at the time, I just couldn't think straight. And I really didn't.
Okay, loveys. Again, as respectful as humanly possible. And I mean no disrespect at all. But there is that felt like something, right? Like that feels personal. I should have never let them go up there. So that you think that Karen did something wrong as well. And again, I don't know how this is being perpetuated in trial 2.0 because we know from Trooper Garino that there was never any logins on either Officer John Okeefe's desktop or laptop. And that meaning for the Ring camera footage. And it didn't happen. Karen didn't delete Ring camera footage. I don't know how many different times or how many Mass State Police can tell people this. But if you're still getting up and saying, I should have never let them go upstairs, maybe that was kind of the vibe, right? And now we're going to also hear after this, because Mrs. Okeefe said Karen and her father just showed up at the door and they asked to come in. But that really isn't how the story actually went. Because Karen spoke to Paul, John's brother, and asked to come to the house and was given permission. So as usual, Hank Brennan doesn't know what he's speaking about. And yet he's making misrepresentations again to Judge Cannoni.
Didn't have anybody else to help me keep them down in the kitchen. So I don't know what they got up there, what they did up there.
How long were they, when you say upstairs, do you know what room they went to?
I assume the bedroom.
So I'm going to strike that, Mrs. O'Keefe. If you could just put you actually know. Yeah, Mr. Brennan can ask a better question.
Thank you. Could I
Mr.
leave
Brennan
it?
asked a better question.
Ma'am, how many rooms are upstairs in John's home?
Sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms and an office. And off the master bedroom, there's a bathroom, and then there's a closet. Big house.
Did you see the defendant and her father go upstairs?
I didn't really see them go up, but I knew they were up there because I could hear them.
You didn't follow them up or go to look?
No.
You didn't know which room or rooms they were in?
No, I'm assuming the bathroom and the master bed.
My question was poor. You didn't see which rooms they actually went in?
No.
How long was the defendant upstairs in John's home with her father?
I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Did you see them come back down?
No, I did not.
When they were upstairs, what were you doing?
I was trying to calm the kids.
Both of them?
But yeah, well, mainly Patrick.
How was Patrick reacting?
He was very upset once we told him because he slept over a friend's house the night before, and he just said, I'll never see him again. Sorry.
Would you like a moment?
Mrs. O'Keefe, would you like to take a short break?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
You can just let me know when you're ready. Take your time.
Okay, go ahead.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. That morning, when the defendant and her father came into your home, did you personally interact with the defendant?
Nope.
Was there any hugs, condolences?
Nope.
Did you ever confront the defendant with any accusations when she was in your home that morning?
I don't even remember her being in the house. When she went upstairs, that's the last I saw of her.
Did you ever lean over a kitchen island? Do you have a kitchen island in your house?
Nope.
Did you ever lean over the kitchen island and say, I think he looks like he got hit by a car?
No. I don't remember talking to her that morning.
Okay, loveys. So right there, we can put ourselves in somewhat of trying to understand what Mrs. Okeefe was going through that day and try to put your brain somewhere near there without actually experiencing it. So we don't know. And we can't say how one would react unless you have had the loss of a child, which I cannot imagine. But when she says that she knew that Karen went upstairs, but then she also states, I don't remember even talking to her. And Hank asks her before, did she come in and give you a hug and a kiss? Well, would you give somebody a hug or a kiss if they maybe were looking past you because they were busy doing other things? They're busy trying to console children. That's not the time that I'm going to make it about me and say, I'd love to hug you right now, especially if you have a Boston Irish Catholic mother named Peg. I'm pretty sure that's not the time that she's going to appreciate a hug from anyone that's not exactly maybe the kids. I'm sure that, I mean, if you were to ask, I don't want to bet or guarantee anything, but I'm pretty sure maybe Paul wasn't even. He was outside snow blowing all day. Sometimes in my experience with my aunts and my family, who are Boston Irish Catholic named Peg, like they sit there and they have to deal with it. And they're just like this, like, hey, don't touch me or I'll fall apart. And if you're going through all the things you're going through and Karen's going through everything she is, they might have been just like two ships crossing in the night.
Did you see when she left?
Nope.
Did you ever see her Lexus in the driveway?
Nope.
Well, that's not what Paul said. Because Paul Okeefe did the interview with Christina Rex. And he says that right at that time, after Karen and her family left, that Mrs. Okeefe said to him specifically, I think she had something to do with this. And Paul said to her, we're not going to think like that. And Paul Okeefe will tell you, babes, that he and Mrs. Okeefe, they knew what had happened per his interview with Christina Rex before Mass State Police told them anything. Oh, okay.
The children, who's their guardian and custodian now?
Well, there's still four of us. Four of us.
Where do they live?
One in
And then I just want to show what AJ did. Oh, hold on, guys. Sorry, bear with me.
Mrs. O'Keefe, I'm very, very sorry for your loss. I have no questions for you.
All right, Mrs. Okeefe, you're all set. All right, so court officer.
Babes, do you see that girl? The girl, court officer. She's lovely. I saw her IRL, and she nods her head. She watches court. Okay, I don't want to, I feel so bad. Okay, now here we go. Oh, we're still on 1.25. Okay. Take your time. Boot, boot, doo, 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 doo.
All right, so I'll watch the first one, then I'll hear your argument, Mr. Brennan and Mr. Jackson. So, Ms. Gilman, if you play that first one, please.
They had pulled into the driveway before me, so I presumed that she saw my cracked taillight and was thinking, did you hit my son? I could sense from her that she was looking at me very warily. And then when John's nephew came home, I just wanted to see him and squeeze him. It was quite uncomfortable. I said, Dad, come upstairs to the master bedroom. I said, I think I need to leave because I think John's mother thinks I did something to John.
Okay, now I didn't remember that, babes. This is from the 2020, right? And I thought that this was a great clip for Karen. This clip never would have been let in unless it was for Hank Brennan. And this shows, in my opinion, a softer side of Karen that we don't see because she doesn't speak of or we see it about her family but I don't recall her talking in general about the kids, but that was a moment that you see that she just wanted to squeeze Patrick and love him up. And the vulnerability of her. And any troll that watches will be like, oh, she doesn't care about anyone but herself. Oh, you forgot that, didn't you? You forgot that freaking clip. And you don't know what the fuck Karen does. She's had 3 years. I'm pretty sure that she's had crying fits in a bathroom, but she's too busy trying to fight the Commonwealth for her own life that she's unable to break down and become just a shell of herself and filled with tears of a freaking pool. An Olympic pool could have probably been filled with the tears in which she shed. But she's got to keep her shit together for herself, for her family, for Officer John Okeefe, and to ensure or to try to do her part that this doesn't happen again. Cases should not be prosecuted like this. This is the persecution of Karen Read, not the prosecution. And it's a fucking shame. The toll that this has taken on both families, on a town of Canton, on the Commonwealth. Shame on DA Morrissey. Shame on Mass State Police. And shame on a culture that allowed this to continue.
All right, so tell me why I should admit that clip.
You should admit this clip because it demonstrates consciousness of guilt. On the morning of John's death, Miss Okeefe sees her son at the hospital and goes back to Mr. O'Keefe's home. In the driveway is the alleged murder weapon, the Lexus with the broken taillight. It's the middle of a snowstorm, and a prelude to that is there is a phone call from the defendant's father to the Dighton police looking for a ride to go in and see his daughter at the Good Samaritan Hospital. He's looking for a police ride because the weather conditions are so terrible. When the Dighton Police Department declines that ride, he gets the assistance of his son and his son's wife pick him up and bring him to the hospital. At the hospital, there are a number of comments made. I think I hit something. There is evidence we have where defendant, her mother, and her father admittedly discuss in different ways the broken taillight. It is an issue that is primary on their mind. In this tumultuous, grieving moment, the taillight is central between these parties. Uninvited, the defendant and her father go to the Okeefe house without invitation.
Stop it. Stop it, Hank. Oh my God, babes. Can't we tell when he's a fibber? When he lies, he scrunches his nose like a who. And all the who's down in Whoville, you fuck. I can't stand it. Pardon my French. It's late night stream. It's 10:33. I hope the kiddos are tucked in bed because my mouth might get a little untamed right now, loveys. This is bullshit. Check his transcript, you shitbag. Because it would have clearly been noted to you where? Day 1 of 1.0, when Paul Okeefe got on the stand and he testified. He clearly stated, Karen called me, asked if she could come see the kids. I said, absolutely. It wasn't uninvited. She's not a vampire. This isn't Buffy the Vampire Slayer. An Angel or Spike is not trying to get into our homes. You ignorant slut. Ugh.
They knock on the door and they ask to come in.
Oh.
They go into the house. There does not seem to be any interaction, at least with Peggy Okeefe. And curiously, they go upstairs for 15 minutes. They stay at the house for less than an hour. This is a family that's grieving the loss of their son. Less than an hour, they go back outside. Instead of leaving in the one car, they take the alleged murder weapon. They get into 2 cars and they drive away and remove the Lexus with the broken taillight from the scene. That is clear consciousness of guilt evidence, removing the murder weapon from an area where witnesses can see, photograph, identify the damage. In fact, despite the other evidence about the cracked taillight in the testimony, it is a centrally contested issue in this case. The defense is already questioned and confronted, as they have a right to do, about the shape, manner, and extent of that broken taillight. The removal of it is helpful for the defendant. And so the fact that they stay for less than an hour, remove the Lexus from the scene is important.
Remove it from what scene? The scene of the alleged incident for Karen Read to have injured Officer John Okeefe would have been 34 Fairview, not One Meadow, you queef. Oh. Oh no. What have I done? Oh, guys, I touched the,
This statement by the defendant is clearly an attempt to create an excuse, a ruse.
A ruse.
For why they removed the murder weapon from.
No one removed the murder weapon, Poindexter. Also, I do want to say that looks like a different suit. It looks to me as if maybe Hank Brennan, first of his name, and the petty paralegal who sits right beside him. Who is that? There she is, bottle blonde and all. She's there. She is a box blonde, and we know what that means. Let's check and see, does she have her pencil skirt on today? But maybe he got this house. He got this suit at Men's Warehouse. It's the first suit he's bought since the Bulger trial. Stop it, Kim. Go.
The scene is an attempt to suggest that she somehow is targeted. She somehow on that morning is victimized. She somehow on that morning is the intent or the object of something that is abusive from Peggy Okeefe.
Oh, well,
and so this evidence will demonstrate a key part of our consciousness of guilt evidence on this issue, that there was no viable reason to take that evidence from the scene other than to obscure it. It was not because Peggy Okeefe yelled at her or intimidated her or threatened her. This was, again, a central conversation between her her father, and her mother in those early morning hours. This is what was foremost in their mind.
What are we
So that's why
talking
it's not only
about?
relevant, it is an extraordinarily strong piece of the conscience of guilt evidence. And inevitably, the defense may or may not try to provide some type of explanation or excuse, but we have a right to the full force of our proof as part of it.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm confused.
With regard to the first clip, which is clip 4,
That's
Oh, I did her dirty, but I can't help myself. There she blows. Look at this. That is a little bit disheveled, okay? And maybe not a center part, okay, babe? When we're millennials, she's millennial or above. And I'd like to say, babe, bring back the side part for you, okay? For you, not me. And also, I will say this. When Hank Brennan walks back, okay, when he does his trut like a tiny show pony back to that podium, they lock eyes. They have a connection. She aggressively writes on her legal pad and he makes faces. I saw it IRL. Okay, wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. And look at her. She is like a tiny little, I don't even know what breed of a puppy she would be. Maybe I don't even know. I don't know. But she gives English bulldog vibes. You know what I'm saying? And they're adorable, but they have breathing problems. And you've just got to watch the snoot. Okay? Continue, AJ.
the only one we're discussing right now.
Then in that case, now that I look at it and I see the transcript, I will draw an objection. I don't care. It's not. I don't agree with anything Mr. Brennan just said. That's what conscience guilt. I think it very clearly shows the opposite.
Okay, so there's no objection. So
No objection. Okay. And then the second one is let's just get there. And then we're going to the
Okay.
next day.
So tell me how this comes in.
Oh, just kidding. I missed
Similarly,
it. I missed it. The boo boo do 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 do.
Okay, so tell me how this comes in.
similarly,
Oh, similarly. Okay, let's try that.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so let's
I
hear.
made an objection to sidebar.
Okay, so Mr. Brennan, play the second, please.
yes.
And his mother leans over the kitchen island and says to me, I think it looks like he got hit by a car. It looks like he got hit by a car.
Okay, so tell me how this comes in.
Similarly, conscience of guilt evidence, the defendant making what we
By Karen saying that Peggy Okeefe said that he looks like he got hit by a car. How is that consciousness of guilt? I don't know how he worked his magic, but somehow in a shocking twist of events, I never thought yesterday I go bullshit. Judge Cannoni would never. She would never, because all it does is it gives a negative inference of Karen because she said it in a tone that could be considered disrespectful of your elders, and the jury could make a negative inference about her. And spoiler alert, babes, Judge Cannoni allows it in. This Poindexter. Okay. Next day. All right, let's go. What am I doing? What is this? Oh, yeah, I don't care. This bored me to death, and I understand why it needed to come in, but oh no, not next day. We have to see Whitley. This is good. But poor Guarino, look at him.
case officers or investigators that aren't part of your unit have access to those items?
No, the only ones that had access were myself, Trooper Connor.
Let's talk about the gray key. Let's talk about the this key. Let's talk about that. Brr, 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 brr. And then we come to Daniel Whitley, day 1, episode 1. He's an interesting character. He's a little bit weird. I get odd vibes from him. And he specifically says something when he's describing Karen Read that chaps my ass as a medical professional. And that's what I want to go through. And then we can get to today. Sorry,
how we
guys.
operate for anybody that's a Section 12 or anybody that is under the influence of anything. We always operate with 2 people in the back of the ambulance. So myself and my partner, Jason Becker, were back there. And then we had to take somebody from the engine company and have them drive to the hospital. And that was Sam Park.
Sam Bach?
Park, P-O-C-H.
Thank you. Before you left, before you started driving away from Fairview, were you having any conversations with the defendant?
Yes.
Can you share with the jury what those conversations were about?
So we were talking. She was upset. She kept asking if there was any chance her husband could be alive, and even sitting outside in the snow with no coat on for many hours.
Did she indicate what many hours meant? How many?
Now, this was shady. This was dirty. This was shady. And if you watched today, you know why. You know absolutely why that it ended up coming out that Karen asked the question. We'll get there. But when we're rewatching this, guys, and we're seeing how this was presented by paramedic Daniel Whitley, you're hearing him say this, and this matters. And I have a hypothesis. Because of the way the questioning goes today with Mr. Yannetti and David Yannetti, my bowl of spaghetti was so hot that everyone burnt their roof of their mouth. Okay, he was a Fra Diablo. He was a spicy tamale this morning. No one could tell him no. But it wasn't done in vain, in my opinion. Now, am I an actual intern? No. It's always been non-consensually. But I was picking up what he was putting down, and I think my nurses and my doctors, I probably don't have any doctors, but my nurse practitioners, my nurses, my respiratory therapists, my therapists, my LPNs, you all picked up on what he was putting down, I think.
No.
How often did she raise the issue of whether or not,
Oh, yeah, you thirsty fuck.
how long he could be out for?
I'd say at least 3 to 4, maybe more.
3 to 4, maybe more.
Part of your job is to care for patients?
Correct. Yes.
Was part of your job
Oh, no. Do the right thing.
to try to get them to the location safely?
Yes.
Oh, we're lagging. Lag if you love
Sometimes
Jesus.
you treat patients with physical injuries, don't you?
Oftentimes it is physical injuries. Yes.
Are you trained when you're trying to transport somebody on how to interact with them?
Yes. Well, sometimes if they're upset, in this instance, she kept asking if there was any chance that he could be alive, and that we really didn't
Pull it together. Oh, can't believe that's a terrible pause. Oh,
know what was the patient that ambulance 1 took. We really didn't know what his condition was, and but figuring that it was a hypothermia type case, being the conditions outside, we were trying to give her hope that there's a saying in the medical field, you're not dead until you're warm and dead. And I was basically, this story is of children falling through ice and falling into rivers and being underwater for multiple hours and coming out, being resuscitated and having no neurological deficits. So I was telling her those stories just kind of to say, look, let's be sure.
okay. Wait a minute. Let's come on, dude. Get to the part where you talk about Karen in the ambulance and what you said. I didn't like it.
What was the patient that ambulance 1 took? We really didn't know what his condition was, and but figuring that it was a hypothermia type case.
Take your time. Just get there. Just kidding.
I'll allow that.
And so the ER doc, the ER tech had to come back and say, yes, she has to get into the Johnny. And at that point she did. She seemed to have calmed.
Oh, no, I went too far. Where does he say about, oh gosh, let me see. It might be right here. Okay, well, I'm just going to tell you if I can't find it. I'm sorry, guys.
Truck for a little bit.
So you knew her well?
No.
Were you friends with her?
No.
Here it is.
Friendly?
I just would describe it as acquaintances.
Did you ever socialize with her personally, other than the block party?
No.
But you know who she was?
I knew who she was. I recognize her, yes.
Did you talk to her that morning?
Not beyond probably a pay or high or something like that.
Okay. Do you know whether she ever gave you any items?
I know at one point I had to exchange whether it was a purse or a cell phone or some object from Miss Reed.
At some point that morning, did you have an opportunity to meet with the defendant?
Yes.
Where did you first see her?
We were in the process of getting her to go to the hospital.
When you say we, who was helping you?
That would be, my partner, obviously, Jason Becker, and then my lieutenant, Greg Woodbury.
Where was she when you first saw her?
Somewhere outside in the street.
Do you recognize her in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you identify her, please?
Yes.
Please.
Oh, Lord.
You're pointing to a person. Can you give just a very limited...
Come on.
The woman sitting in between these two gentlemen here.
Did you interact with her that morning? Have a conversation?
Yes.
When you first started speaking to her, what was her demeanor?
Pretty upset, crying. We had a Section 12 in hand, which is a medical order or a police order
Lord.
to be taken to the
Hold
hospital
on. Okay,
for
6.4,
psychological.
35. I'm going to move to 6. Try here. Because I can't listen to that. That is egregious. On our
Because once the Section 12 is written, it doesn't matter what the patient says. We have to get them there one way or the other, whether it's cooperatively restrained or chemically restrained with sedatives or anything.
It's not a voluntary order?
It is not a voluntary order.
Inevitably, did the defendant agree to go with you to the hospital?
Yes.
When you were going to return to the hospital, was the defendant placed in the back of the ambulance where a patient would be?
So how we operate for anybody that's a Section 12 or anybody that is under the influence of anything, we always...
And isn't that shady to say under the influence of anything? Shut your mouth. Because you know what, Whitley? You didn't write that, and neither did your hombre, your compadre, your amigo.
Operate with two people in the back of the ambulance. So myself and my partner, Jason Becker, were back there. And then we had to take somebody from the engine company and have them drive to the hospital. And that was Sam Park.
Sam Bach?
Park, P-O-C-H.
Thank you. Before you left, before you started to drive away from Fairview, were you having any conversations with the defendant?
Yes.
Can you share with the jury what those conversations were about?
So we were talking. She was upset. She kept asking if there was any chance her husband could be alive.
Oh,
and,
my.
Even sitting outside.
Come on, my friend. Get there. For the love of God and all things good and holy, tiny Jesus, be with us now. Okay, I'm not even going to do it, guys. He says bizarre. And I find it bizarre.
Describe her demeanor as even through that, right?
No.
How long did it take to get to the hospital?
Nope, we missed it. Okay.
I mean, you can refer to my part.
It was bizarre. The word is bizarre. He goes, he's talking about the Kerry Roberts. He says, oh, you have so many people in your life that helped you this morning, and you're so lucky. Meanwhile, Karen just got sectioned. She just got taken back to a scene after she had been literally providing resuscitative efforts to the best of her ability to her boyfriend, to her loved one. And she says, she drops her basket and says, I'm checking out if he's checked out. If he is no longer on this earth, I'm going too. And guess who drove her back to that scene, which in my entire career, almost 18 years as a nurse for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, let's talk some shit. Sorry, come closer. I have never, ever seen somebody be taken back to a scene when you're alleging that they are at risk to themselves or others. You guys should have met her there. Wherever Karen was, should have been met. Not, hey, can you come back? Can you come back to the scene where you're suffering your own like emotional distress from? Come on back here. Don't make it weird. Oh. So she's pissed. She doesn't want to go to the hospital. Her dad called. Mr. Read called and said, I'm nervous for my daughter. So when she gets back to that scene, Kerry takes her pocketbook or whatever. And when this guy is like, you're so lucky. You just found your boyfriend in this situation. And like, where is your not de-escalation training, but like, where is your compassion to another human being? No one wants to hear how lucky they are in a situation like this, Dan. Dan, you know? Okay? So he takes this moment and kind of is kicking Karen when she's just saying, I don't want any part of this. And I'm pissed off at Kerry because she even brought me back here. So her saying, I guess Dan says, oh, or Karen says, do you know Kerry Roberts? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, well, no one would think that if they knew Kerry Roberts or whatever, like just insinuating that Kerry sucks. Yeah, Kerry sucks right now. You just sectioned me. Do you know how many patients have told me, I don't ever want to see you again? You're not my nurse anymore. And then once they're better and they've gone to the hospital, of course they want me to be their nurse. I'm their person. But it hurts your feelings as a patient or as a person when you feel betrayed. Like, hey, I said this, but I didn't mean it. But if you're, either a mandated reporter or a family or a loved one, and you take that seriously, you need to be able to have a boundary and say, I'm doing this for you, and I'm not trying to hurt you. But he made it weird, and it's not about you, and it wasn't about Kerry. It was about the situation. She is a patient, and you referred to her as bizarre because she didn't like your fucking neighbor. That's questionable treatment. You have questionable fucking ethics, in my opinion, pal. We don't call people bizarre when they're having a fucking mental health emergency. Okay? Ugh.
Ever encountered Karen Read that day, you had interacted with Kerry Roberts in the past, correct?
Briefly, yes.
Well, you were both on the same neighborhood Facebook page, were you not?
Yes, that's why I volunteered to bring the fire truck to the
Right.
block
So
party.
one time she had posted on that neighborhood Facebook page that she wanted to have a fire truck at the neighborhood block party, correct?
Correct.
And that's when you replied and volunteered that you would bring the fire truck to that block party as she requested, correct?
Correct.
And you also worked with Kerry Roberts.
All right, that wasn't, is there anything more? Oh God, I'm
And
doing
that
him
was
dirty.
3 months after the events that you're testifying about today.
Roughly.
And your memory back then was fresh, was it not?
Yes.
Oh, this was funny. Yeah, this
And
was
you were
good.
asked the question, once she was in the back of the ambulance and she agreed voluntarily to go to the hospital, she appeared to calm down at that point. Do you remember that question?
I do.
And your answer was, I mean, she wasn't arguing against us at that point. I mean, once she, agreed to come with us voluntarily, I mean, she was still upset, crying, and talking on the phone. Do you remember that answer?
I do.
All right. You didn't mention in that answer that it was only at times that she was crying and upset, correct?
No.
Okay. The whole time, from beginning to end, Ms. Reed was constantly worried about John, was she not?
Yeah.
Sustained.
You recall that she was on the phone at one point speaking to someone that she called Papa, correct?
Correct.
Did you later learn that Papa was John Okeefe Sr.?
I am just learning that just now.
All right. And in any case, you heard her say to Papa, is he dead? He's dead, isn't he?
Sustained.
You could hear on the other end of the line that Papa was saying something to her, correct?
The objection sustained.
May I approach?
The witness or me?
Sidebar.
Okay.
Judge Cannone says, who do you want to approach? This I found interesting, guys, because I didn't know that Karen had also talked to Mr. Okeefe, because I knew that when when she had called Kerry and Mrs. Okeefe had that reaction, and then Mr. Okeefe had said, that's enough. She's been through enough. That like he had the compassion in him towards Karen that morning. Anytime, you buffering slime. Oh, nope, it's done. Okay, now I'm going to do this. Hell or high water, I am doing this. Am I going to remove this? Okay, I've removed the screen. Okay, stay there, babes. Now I just need to figure out, oh, I got to make this small. Oh, I shouldn't have done that maybe. Oh, because I have to get to today's. Okay, bear with me. Oh, let's do something. Let's play a clip so that I can do this while I'm clipping. Clipping ain't easy.
Initially, when you left, who, if anyone, left with you?
I left with Karen Reed.
And as you're leaving your car, you're driving, is that correct?
Yes.
Where's Miss Reed in the car at that point?
Say it again.
Where was Miss Reed in your car at that point?
In the passenger seat.
And as you were leaving, what, if anything, were the two of you doing or talking about, or what was going on when you left that first time?
As we were leaving, she was saying to me, if anything happens to John, I'm going to kill myself. You need to take care of these kids.
And how did you respond to that?
He's not going to die. No one's doing anything of that nature. Or something of that nature, I said.
And as far as you're driving away, Chapman, and you're facing towards Cedar Crest, is that right?
Yes.
And so when you left, are you following in that sort of same direction towards Cedar Crest?
I took a right onto Cedar Crest.
And then where did you go from there?
And then I got to Dedham Street, and I went to take a right. And then Officer Good let me go to pick up the Okeefes to take them. I had to give him my phone number so that he could get in touch with me if he needed to. So he did call, and he said, do you have Miss Reed with you? And I said, yes. And he said, please bring her back. Her parents have called in a suicide. They said she's saying she's suicidal, so they want her to be sectioned.
And so coming back to that in a moment, but before you had left the scene, you hadn't talked to any police officers or anything at that time, correct?
No, other than my name and phone number, but no.
So you gave them your information and then said, I have to go pick up the Okeefes.
Yes.
So you get that call from Officer Good, and then you come back to the house, is that right?
Yes.
And during any of that time, you recall the defendants, I know you had mentioned she spoke to Aaron Okeefe. Was there anybody else that the defendant spoke to or talked to while you were with her in the car?
She spoke to her mother. And then I ended up taking the phone and speaking to her mother, and I gave her my phone number, and I said, I'm going to go to the hospital. She said, please make sure she does not have her purse. She has medication in her purse I don't want her to take.
And then when you arrived back at the scene, what happened then?
She just got out of the car and walked to the ambulance.
And who, if anyone, did she walk, and by she, you mean the defendant?
I'm sorry, yes.
And who, if anyone, did the defendant walk from your car to the ambulance with?
She just walked, I think she just walked by herself. I had her phone because I had been talking to her mother. So then one of the first responders came over and said, do you have her phone? And I said, yes. Her mother said, make sure she does not have her purse.
And then following that conversation with one of the first responders, where did you go from there?
I went to go pick up the Okeefes.
Hello, loveys. I just did this. I think as a strong and independent woman, let us find out. As women in STEM, we rock and roll. I've got 35 more minutes. Can you do it with me? Throw a 1 in the chat if you can hold on. If you would rather have me abort mission, I shall do that as well. Oh.
Correct.
Her statements and questions to you at the scene were fresh in your mind in April of 2022, correct?
Correct.
In April of 2022, before the grand jury, Mr. Lally asked you, quote, what, if any, questions did she ask you regarding hypothermia? Do you remember?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say to all of you out there, all of my loveys, you are my rides or dies, okay? I am obsessed with you. Thank you for answering my FaceTimes. I am not worthy, but Tiny Jesus is. Take it away, Mr. Clean.
Remember that question?
I do.
Your answer was, she was just wondering if he could have survived outside in the cold, even though he didn't have a jacket on. Do you remember giving that answer?
I do.
Nowhere in that answer, in 2022, less than 3 months after these events, do you attribute the words, quote, many hours, end quote, in the snow to Ms. Reed?
Oh.
Reed, correct?
Yes, I was not.
I'm not asking for an explanation, sir. I'm asking for an answer.
All right, so he was answering you, Mr.
My
Yannetti.
question called for a yes or no answer. Nowhere in your answer in 2022 do you attribute the words many hours in the snow to Ms. Reed, yes or no?
No, I did not say that at that point.
Nowhere in your answer in 2022 do you testify that Ms. Reed told you he had actually been in the snow for many hours, correct?
She did.
Sir, I'm asking you about your testimony.
So let him answer the question.
Let me ask it again. Nowhere in your answer in 2022 did you testify that Ms. Reed told you he had actually been in the snow for many hours, correct?
Oh.
In 2022, I testified that I was just told to be brief and give generalizations. She quantified many hours in the snow when we were in back.
Let me try this again,
So,
sir.
Mr. Yannetti, you're just saying 2020.
Oh. My computer has left the building. It says we
get to a
cannot.
date.
Of course,
in a
yes,
place.
April of 2022. Okay, before the grand jury. My question again, and I'm still seeking a yes or no answer from you.
Oh.
Okay. Nowhere in your answer in April of 2020.
Wait a minute. Let's give it a minute. Take a minute. Breathe, Mr. Yannetti. We are with you. You are the chosen one. You are our David Yannetti, our bowl of spaghetti, consensually. This is hot, okay? I'm into it. Tell me yes or no answers. I don't know who I am, but I'll tell you this. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And by the looks of it, Mr. Clean didn't know what was happening.
22 before the grand jury, did you testify under oath that Ms. Reed told you that John had actually been in the snow for many hours, correct?
Not in 2022 of April, no.
Okay. The next time you testified under oath was last year in 2024, correct?
Oh.
Correct.
During that testimony, Mr. Lally asked you, oh, by the
Oh, it did it again. Sorry, I have to put it up to the high
2022
resolution.
is no mention of many hours, right?
I did not, and I was told to be brief on the grand jury stand.
But again, no mention of many hours in 2022. Okay. Now, 2024, last year, Mr. Lally asked you, so Firefighter Whitley, at some point, specific to your conversations with the defendant, Ms. Reed, can you describe sort of her demeanor or any observations you made in relation to that as you were speaking with her? And your answer was, yes, she was very upset. She kept asking if there was any chance. She kept asking us if we knew if the person ambulance 1 had transported was.
I surely love you, Judge Huffs, a lot. Kim, you are my little sister. All good, all love. This trial literally makes is giving me a stroke. Skunk Brennan is dirt. Skunk Breening, pardon me. I wanted to tell you guys, we'll do a wellness check later, but we should probably be doing some sort of yoga and or taking an omega-3. Okay?
Was alive or dead, and we could not speak to that. She asked if somebody could be alive in the snow without a jacket for many hours, correct?
Correct.
So 2022, there was no mention of many hours. 2024, over time, now that's the first time that you mentioned the words many hours in your testimony regarding this case, correct?
Correct.
All right. And when you testified last year, you testified.
Let's get our omega-3 fatty acids as well as a shot of vodka, okay?
Still that she was asking you a question about surviving in the snow, correct?
Correct.
So then we come to yesterday on direct examination. Do you recall that Mr. Brennan yesterday asked you, before you left, were you having any conversations with the defendant? And you answered yes. Recall that yesterday?
Is that at the hospital?
I'm asking you yesterday, do you recall Mr. Brennan asking you before you left essentially the scene, were you having any conversations with the defendant? And your answer was yes.
You're talking about Lee, I'm just trying to make sure we're talking about the same instance. Are we talking about when we left the hospital or when we left Fairview Road?
When you were at Fairview Road, leaving Fairview Road. We're talking about the same subject of what Ms. Reed supposedly told you or asked you. Okay? Mr. Brennan went into that with you.
So on the way, you're talking on the way to the hospital in terms of left, when we left.
Well, before you left. He meant before you left the scene.
Okay, no, I'm just trying to clarify.
Again, it's the same conversation, Mr. Whitley. I'm not trying to trick you.
Mr. Yannetti, he just asked for a point of reference. It's clear. Now go.
Understood. And Mr. Brennan said, can you share with the jury what those conversations were about? And your answer was, so we were talking, she was upset. She kept asking if there was any chance her husband could be alive, even sitting outside in the snow without any coat for many hours. Do you recall that answer that you gave yesterday on direct examination?
Yes.
And that was the first time that you mentioned that she said, supposedly, or asked supposedly, about him sitting outside in the snow. Correct?
I was just using phrases generally speaking.
He's like, I don't know
I
who I am. This poor guy, he is really going through it. He's struggling. He's scratching the dome. He's doing the good old sway all day. He's like, let me go. People, let my people go. He's Moses. Not really.
At that point, I was paraphrasing. I was not speaking verbatim to what she said.
Let's try that again. That was the first time that you mentioned that she claimed or asked that he was sitting outside, correct?
It could have been sitting.
Could have been anything.
Laying, being.
Let's try it a third time.
So
was that
ambient?
Just ask the question, not let's try it.
Sure.
Let's try it.
Was that the first time that you testified under oath that Ms. Reed said or asked about him sitting outside?
Are you asking me to clarify whether she used the word sitting?
I'm not asking you to clarify anything. I'm asking you whether that was the first time yesterday during direct examination that you mentioned that she asked about him sitting outside.
I'm sorry. I am very confused because I'm trying to figure out if he was being outside, sitting outside.
I'm asking about Ms. Reed's statements, sir. That's all I've been asking you about. Her statements to you and your testimony about her statements to you. Was yesterday on direct examination the first time that you testified under oath that Ms. Reed mentioned the words sitting outside?
I don't know. I'm just using, she might have said laying outside, being outside, outside.
Okay, so when you testified yesterday before this jury,
yes,
that she mentioned the words sitting outside, you're now saying that that might not have been accurate, correct?
Oh. It could have been a different word.
Okay, but you didn't say it could have been a different word yesterday. You just left it as sitting outside, correct?
Yeah, that's what I said, sitting.
All right, so now we get from, the grand jury with no many hours mentioned to questions about many hours to sitting outside to let's talk about what you said on cross-examination.
I object.
Okay, the objection sustained.
Sure. On cross-examination, your words were, she said he had been out in the snow without a jacket on for many hours.
This is the point,
She had
Lovey.
asked if he had been
This
outside,
is the
if
point.
there was any chance he could be alive, even though he was outside without a jacket for many hours.
So it always was a question, correct?
It was a question.
She never said what you said on cross-examination yesterday, which was she said that he had been out in the snow without a jacket on for many hours. That was not a declarative statement by Ms. Reed, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow that. Was that a declarative statement by Ms. Reed?
She asked if he could be alive without a jacket in the snow for many hours.
So again, it was a question, sir.
She asked me, and we were just trying to give her hope in terms of telling stories of hypothermic patients that could survive outside in the snow.
Okay, is there any redirect?
Briefly.
That was a wild ride, but there is a method to the madness, in my opinion. Now let's listen to just Hank, and then I'm going to tell you my theory.
Okay.
Oh, God.
When you were called to the grand jury, was the testimony as in-depth and as long as it is in front of this jury?
No, not even close.
Never mind. Never mind. Unnecessary. Okay, babes, come close. Talk shit. This is going to be, listen, this is what, this is, oh, tiny Jesus. I'm so sorry. This is why you show up to my house. It's not just for the unhinged rants. It's for the medical, right? And that is one thing I know. And as I have seen, not only between the cross of Timothy Nuttall, but now with Whitley, babes, I'm telling you, bet your bottom dollar, we're not going to be agreeing, in my opinion. And this is speculation. This is non-consensual intern stuff. But I'm just saying, I think that there's going to be a challenge to the medical examiner, to hypothermia, and the finding of Officer John Okeefe in his state that he was on January 29th, 2022. It is my opinion that seeing how this question is going, this questioning, and how they are focusing so much on to impeach Whitley for did Karen say he was out there, or was it a question? I think that it's going to be challenged heavily, medically speaking, that Officer John Okeefe did not have hypothermia for the diagnosis as it relates to his cause of death. He had hypothermia because anything under 95 degrees is hypothermic, right? We know that. So we're not saying that the diagnosis wasn't there, but I think it's going to be challenged for part of the cause of death. I think if it was me and I'm looking at this, they're going to say blunt force trauma. And it wasn't in conjunction with hypothermia. Now, how does that make sense? Kim, they can't do that. The medical examiner said, well, then I start thinking about Irene Scorti-Bello. And I start remembering about the spots on Officer John O'Keefe's pancreas. And that she said it could be consistent with hypothermia. Oh. there are other reasons that you could have bleeding in your pancreas as well. And that could be acute alcohol poisoning. That could be, you know, a lot of other chronic, I don't want to really like opine on things, but like, because I don't know the medical diagnoses and or like, you know, just I just don't want to say, but there are a lot of different reasons that this could come out. And I'm telling you, babes, you don't have count 2 if Officer John Okeefe, well, that would be count 3. Count 3 of leaving the scene. Count 1 intentional, like a homicide. They were never getting that. And now if it is manslaughter under the influence and the lesser included counts, the Commonwealth will have nothing. Oh. If they can't only utilize that, and there's going to be more than one reason. And with the new medical examiner, La Posada, I'm very interested into what she has to say. Because we've always said that it didn't make sense. His temp would have been so different. His core temperature never should have been 80 if he had been out since 12:30 a.m. The fact that he had range of motion and was pliable, right? And we were able to move a body per who? Anthony Flammati. The fact that we had a viable candidate for resuscitative like in the first place, instead of an asystole, freaking cardiac arrest, freaking hypothermic, like they didn't call it at the scene. They didn't pronounce. He had no signs of life per Timothy Nuttall. But Anthony Flammati said he had a red back, babe. Said he was actively bleeding. Who was wrong? Because one of you is. And then I'm pretty sure that if Irene Scorti-Bello if she walked back, that I don't think Officer John Okeefe was in a significant fight, right? Or fight, or I can't even think of it right now. What did she say? You didn't think that it was significant fight or altercation? There it is, altercation. Auscultation. I don't know where I was going there. Fight or altercation. She had put that initially in the report, and then she walked it back. Now, when she was talking about the Wernicke spots, right, or the Wernicke spots, Wernesky spots, I can't say it, but those in the liver, those tiny little hemorrhages, have many other medical findings. And other than his core temperature, that was the only other hypothermic finding. Oh. And then if we went back and we listened to AJ and his opening stating that he did not, like, that there was no question, right? That Officer John Okeefe was moved. Oh, where are your pearls, Kimberly? Clutch them. This is huge. This is going to be, I mean, it already is. In the first 3 days, you're already feeling a completely different trial. But if the defense was able to take count 2 off the table, then we have done what? It has happened. And this will be the end of trial 2.0. Is this going to free Karen? And the answer is going to unequivocally be yes. Battle of the experts, babe. It's coming. Oh, where am I? Oh, I got out of the media. Find your home. Okay. So now, come on, Whitley.
When you're recounting your memories of what happened.
No. Oh, yeah. No, I don't care. I don't care about any of. Oh, did we all love Mr.
Bishop
Camerano
Feeney.
again?
And how about his niece?
Same.
They both got accepted to
They
the
both
same
got
school?
accepted to the same school.
Was it a celebratory
What an
move?
angel.
Yes.
And then, oh, Trooper Garino. I wanted to show this one just at the end, babe.
And did you do that
Oh.
with the defendant's records for some parties?
Nope. That is not it. Where is he? Morning break. Here it is. Okay. It's right at the end, these last couple. And I just want to ask our opinion as
155-44 on the 28th.
people in relationships.
From the defendant, John Okeefe. He's not a scammer. Half the quick stuff he doesn't even charge me for. 7:56:06 p.m. on the 28th.
Okay. So all day we remembered that Karen and John were into it. They were having they got into it in the morning, and then it was like a little bit of playing coy. And I thought it was a little bit gross of Hank Brennan to be like, Officer John Okeefe rejected the call. I was like, okay. He didn't reject the call. He rejected it. Shut the fuck up. He's our boyfriend. Leave him alone.
The defendant to John Okeefe. He just put the soilet seats on crooked.
The soilet?
7:56:28 p.m. on the 28th. John Okeefe, the defendant, status 8:09:02 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, still here with an emoji, 8:09:18 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, said he's got to go to HD and probably be back mañana.
For anyone who is not from Massachusetts, that would be Home Depot. Oh, wait, we all have Home Depots, JK.
23:56 p.m. on the 28th. From John Okeefe to the defendant, so 8:24:43 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, an emoji, 8:25:02 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, just trying to figure out if I need to be here, 8:25:51 p.m. on the 28th.
Oh, I'm sorry. What, babe? Tammy Glassnap Simon. Nurse Kim, what about his eyes? I saw someone wants to know about his eyes. Tell me about his eyes, babe. What do you want to know? Oh. Okay. What about his eyes? I'm just going to try to wing it. Officer John Okeefe had ecchymosis and blood pooling in under his eyelids. That is from a basal skull fracture. And it went all the way from the back of his head to underneath his eye sockets, to the floor of his orbital eye sockets. He had fractures in his left lateral fissure. He had, oh gosh, he had subdural hematomas. He had a herniated brainstem. And all of that was the cause from the initial impact, Lovey, of the fatal blow is what I call. I don't know what happened to the back of Officer John Okeefe's skull, but that 2.5-inch laceration, that was his cause of death. That strike.
From John Okeefe to the defendant, what does it need? 8:26:01 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, I don't know.
KDB, I hear you. I understand that. And babe, it is because of the significance of that radiating Okay. The bones we have inside our skull. So your thick ass skull, some men have thicker than others. Okay. But our thick, ass skulls do not like crack the way that did. Okay. That laceration, to see what we saw when we're looking and seeing the tip of dura mater of Officer John Okeefe's brain, it was such force that it was catastrophic. Now, whether it was that he was struck by something in that fatal blow and then he collapsed, fell, did something, whatever, but there was radiating fractures. So those radiating fractures in the tiny skull, in your tiny bones going through your skull, it just went all the way from the back to the front. Can you imagine? And I'm going to tell you this, back to the eyes. Kerry Roberts did testify again about his left eye being in different condition than his right eye. Remember, the left eye had the huge egg on it, the goose egg, if you will. And then when she went, and after he had been pronounced and she had got to go in and see him post-mortem, she was so sad because he had looked worse than he did when he was on the lawn. And that tells us too something, babes. That tells us that time was still in play for Officer John Okeefe that morning. And that the processes of his inflammatory response was ongoing. Okay? And then tell me how he looked worse post-mortem, but didn't have a bruise on his lower extremities, on his trunk, on his back, even on his upper extremities. All he had were those furrows. Stop it.
He showed me some pieces that was all rusted. An emoji. I don't understand half this stuff. 8:26:42 p.m. on the 28th. John Okeefe to the defendant on the water heater.
On the water heater.
8:26:59 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, yes. 8:27:08 p.m. on the 28th. From John Okeefe to the defendant, tell him to leave it. I'll take care of it Sunday or Monday. 8:28:30 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, no, it's okay. I can either meet him here or just shut off the alarm. 8:28:52 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, he used to work here while I was at work. 8:29:02 p.m. on the 28th. From John Okeefe to the defendant, does he realize it will be whiteout conditions tomorrow a.m.? 8:29:32 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, yeah, but he lives right down the road. 8:29:47 p.m. on the 28th.
I just wanted to go over this, loveys, because this is at the end, right? This is when we are figuring out that Officer John Okeefe does want Karen to come over. It's a back and forth. It's a relationship. They weren't having the best day. And okay, like, I get it. But at the end, I did like, because it did specify that
From John Okeefe to the defendant,
here it
Karen,
is.
the storm is going to be intense. Can't drive. 8:30:19 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, okay, well, if he can't, he can't. 8:30:36 p.m. on the 28th. John Okeefe to the defendant, I'll do it Monday.
Okay, and this was a message I wanted us all to read. I'll do it Monday. The man who the Commonwealth alleges wants to break up with her, invites her to his house for a blizzard. You're going to stay here. I know that you, me, and the kids, I just fought with you this morning over over getting Kaylee Dunkin' Donuts. And, you know, fucking A, we're having a moment. All right. We're jamming right now. But you know what, Karen? I'll fix it on Monday. Oh, well, if that isn't every cop I've ever known in my life, including my father.
30:56 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, I better not still have this problem on Monday. 8:31:22 p.m. on the 28th. From John Okeefe to the defendant, you plan on being there. 8:31:43 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, I too know I can take a hot shower there here if I need to. 8:32:14 p.m. on the 28th. Figured you'd be, from John Okeefe to the defendant, figured you'd be in Canton until Monday. 8:32:32 p.m. on the 28th. From John Okeefe to the defendant, I'm getting off my phone. Let me know what you're doing. 8:32:54 p.m. From the defendant to John Okeefe, I think the four of us together is toxic to this relationship. Would like to limit it. 8:33:16 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John Okeefe, you said so yourself for probably a year now. 8:33:52 p.m. on the 28th. John Okeefe to the defendant, blizzard tomorrow. Nobody is going anywhere.
Oh, he's telling her.
8:33:56 p.m. on the 28th.
You're not going anywhere, Lady Jane.
From the defendant to John Okeefe, maybe I'll come back late tonight. Bad snow is in the early a.m.
Oh, and look at Karen, just still playing a little coy. Well, if you don't want me to come down, meh, right? Like all she needed was like words of affirmation. Her love language, John.
8:35:14 p.m. on the 28th. From the defendant to John
My love language is acts of service.
Okeefe, I'll head up there in a few minutes. Let me know if you leave. 8:35:26 p.m. on the 28th. From John Okeefe to the defendant, an emoji. He says, sure. 8:35:34 p.m. on the 28th. And that was the last of them.
Oh. Okay. For therapeutic reasons, we are bopping Brennan's. Hold, please. For the good and good of all the church. Oh. Ready? On your mark. Get set. Boppa Brennan. Okay, we'll keep him here in his damn number twos. Poor Lally. I've been looking at him like a son of a gun. I just keep checking on him. I'm doing wellness checks emotionally on Adam Lally. And where is she? Where's Law McGlaw? Oh, wait, you can't even see it. Can you see it? Oh, did I just do this all for no reason? Did you just see me doing that or was it crazy? Oh, Lord. Okay, ready? Let's bop a Brendan one more time. Bop a Brennan. Okay. And then now, babes, we're just going to go over this final stretch and then it's it. Okay, good.
The final count of my alcohol intakes, probably about 5 or 6 or 4.
Oh.
The drinks that they were pouring me at McCarthy's, which is where I consumed most of the alcohol, was the weakest vodka tonic. It tasted just like old soda water with lime. Not that I needed it to be a martini, but it might have had a splash of vodka in it. So I said, John, this drink tastes like it has no vodka in it. He said, just get a shot and mix it yourself. So each drink was being counted as a double. So I would get a vodka tonic and then I would pour a shot into it. So that would count as 2. But frankly, it just felt like a regular cocktail. It was just a really weak pour. So I asked for a shot. So for my taste, it just tasted like that's the normal strength of what a drink should be. So I had maybe 2 or 3 that are being counted as 4 and 6. And I don't know. I felt fine. I felt like I was buzzed. And then there was one drink, the last one that was given to me, which I would have counted as 3, but they're counting as my 6th cocktail. The guys that were with brought around shots, and they gave me one that I didn't drink, but I poured it in my drink. So that's now my 5th and 6th drinks with the 7th, which is the shot that all the men did, and I poured it. So that one glass that I'm holding, that I go into the waterfall with, has 3 drinks in it, a vodka tonic and 2 shots. And which is why John said to me, you're not leaving that drink here, like you haven't touched it and just poured a bunch of items, like just take it with you, which was something he always did. So then I go into Waterfall and I put that drink down and I socialize most of the time. So that would have been like sixth and seventh drinks. Then John orders me a drink at the Waterfall that I don't drink, that he takes with him. And then there was a round of shots that Chris Howard that I did take. So that would have been the night. But I did not consume 9 vodka martinis or take 9 shots, depending on how you count it. And the last 2 drinks I didn't touch.
Clip 10, please.
I mean, I'm not as clear as I would be if I hadn't been drinking. I mean, I had drank, so, and that led me to question, like, could I have hit him? Did I bar over his foot or hit him in the knee? Did I incapacitate him? I mean, I always drive with my music blasting ever since I was 16, and I know when John got out of the car to go into Fairview, I know my car was blasting because when I got in it the next morning, I go look for him, I had to immediately turn it down. And I don't know, it's stormy. I have had a few cocktails. I didn't black out, but I wasn't as lucid as I would have been if I had gone to bed at 9 and drank a tea. But
No one feels as good as when they go to bed at 9 and have a beautiful cup of tea. Lipton's, if you will. Or maybe a little sleepy time.
so I was fuzzier than I would have been if I had no alcohol.
Clip 11, please.
How did you feel after that when you got in the car? Did you feel like you could drive, and did you feel how
I wouldn't have gotten on the expressway. I wouldn't have gotten on the expressway at 12:15 on January 29th. I mean, it was quiet. The roads were very quiet. You can see it in the videos. And I was going, when I've had a few drinks and I drive, I always drive extra slow. And I know my alerts aren't as sharp as they should be. But I shouldn't have been driving. But I don't think I was driving. I know I was.
Oop, that was whoopsie doops.
Driving recklessly. We've got plenty of video of myself driving all over the place. John's. I put my car in John's garage, which is incredibly nice. I had a very oversized SUV. You see me, there's a video of me driving through the intersection when we leave Waterfall to go to Brian Albert's. And I was always taught by my father, even when you have a green light, you always should tap the brake. You don't know who's going to run red. And I see me doing that multiple
Oh, come on.
times.
And strong. And strong.
Between 12 and 1 and 5 and 6 a.m. So I know I was driving
I know
safely,
I was driving.
not as safely or as alert as I would be if I had no alcohol. But I was not driving recklessly by any measure.
Thank you. Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, loveys. That's it. Now, where am I? Who am I? I'm here. Okay. What did you think about that? What did you think about the clips? Because I understand where Karen's coming from. And it is just going to depend, in my opinion, what the jury thinks, right? And that's all that matters. My opinion doesn't matter. I get nervous because of, knowing that we have plenty of people that don't see problems with alcohol, but when somebody's life is gone and it has been taken, and we have a jury that last time, per Ronnie, told us that they assumed anything happened just because of alcohol, solely based on the alcohol. They were like, Karen had to have done it. She didn't mean to. They filled in the blanks, and they wanted to give, in my opinion, closure to a family and to the life of Officer John Okeefe. Somebody needed to have justice for that. Someone needed to pay the price. But maybe hearing this from Karen, that instead of 9 drinks, it was really 4. Maybe 4 and a shot in 3 hours. Doesn't sound outlandish to me, but I am someone who doesn't, I don't have specific incidences where like my family members, no one has had, well, no, plenty of my family members have had DUIs, but I mean that, like, God forgive me, but no one's been like hurt or hurt someone else because of drinking and driving, and it affects so many people. So, it's kind of a luck of the draw, if you ask me. It depends on what the jury gets together and what they think. But her making the statement specifically about the number of drinks is helpful. But then her saying, I shouldn't have been driving, or if you're saying like, when I drink and drive, I go slow, or I do this, will the jury get like a taste in their mouth where they're like, oh, so she does this often or something, I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to think. Oh, I think a couple of them don't make her look the best, but they're also not going to convict her. Common sense investigator. Thank you so much. I love that. Oh, ding. Good job, Joe Harvey. Oh, technical out. I don't know. But I heard a family member on X claim litigation. Oh, okay. Sorry. That's not me. Oh, L says, why did she do the interview? Because she wanted to, Lovey. You know what I mean? I feel like Karen has had really great points. And I feel like she wants to tell her story because she's innocent. This is where it comes from, babes. It comes from, I want to scream it from the rooftop, and my team is having to go through this with me for a second trial. I think at the time of ID, specifically, they never thought it was going to be a hung jury. I don't think anyone did. I believe that when we were going into trial 1.0, anyone who's been with me, no matter how the cookie was going to crumble, babes, we figured, I was very confident Karen would be found not guilty, but the Commonwealth supporters were very confident she would be found guilty. The hung jury was what I was like, wait, what the fuck? What just happened? And now we're here in 2.0. And it scares me, like, because even Kirk Minahan, Cully's boss, he'll always say, I can't ever see 12 jurors convicting Karen, but he doesn't think that he can see them acquitting her either. 12 agreeing to acquit or 12 agreeing to convict. I will say, so far, I know we're only 3 days in. I'm not even asking, like, we're nowhere near where we could get a grip on this or a real feel. But I feel like if we continue on this trajectory and the defense is going for the gusto with the hypothermia, with the medical conditions, with changing this up so that it has to be a not guilty by law. Like, no matter what these people think, if you can go through the reasonable doubt fucking checklist, in this case, there should be a case study about this. Karen Reed's case should be in law school, like I don't know, textbooks of how to present something or how you advocate for your clients. And prosecutors should learn to not try cases that they didn't do the right thing on. You have to take accountability when you are at fault. And there has been none by the Commonwealth, in my opinion. And Calamity Jade said, I think it will be in the future. A lot of case law could come from this. I totally agree, babe. And L Star says it's so sad. Without a doubt, she's innocent. I believe it too. And you know what kind of chaps my ass, L Star, is that like when people will attack you and say like I'm a paid person or whatever, like that, Karen, she pays all of us. I didn't get a check. Okay. I'm going to have to really send in an IOU. Okay. Someone send me some dough because I've been on a zip street here. Okay. For, I'm non-consensual to everyone. No one asked me. But like, if I went my typical route, it would always be in favor with the Commonwealth. Like, I don't believe that there are like cases that are like this where we're from. It's been very hard to like swallow the pill of seeing Sandra Birchmore and seeing Karen and seeing Enrique, which I still don't know what's going on with Enrique, and Justin Root, and any other case that you're just like, wait, what? Like, it's heartbreaking, and I want justice for everyone, for all, not for some that have the right last names and the right connections. It should be for all of us. So, I'm not a conspiracy theorist by nature, or I'm not like sitting there going like, ooh, everything Karen does is perfection. Everything the Commonwealth does is the devil. I long for the days of Adam Lally. I wish I will say Hank is quicker, but if we were what if anythinging and it was more fair or less theatrics from the Commonwealth, I'd be happy as a clam. Oh, and that's it, loveys. Oh, boo, 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 doo. All right, the Goodmans, thank you so much for gifting one Nurse Kim non-consensual membership. And Para Noha says, give us Bella's mom. Oh, that's what she said. Big Neck Daddy Higgins is probably trying to do that too. You're muted, babe. Oh, Lovey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Mama She is saying I'm muted. Oh, Loveys, I am so sorry. This is an unhinged department. To making a count says, put that HIPAA violation nation on blast. Yes, Lovey, totally agree. And Kelly, if Chloe bit, you must acquit, says you are the smartest and the prettiest that court TV has ever seen. Stop it. You make me so proud. We've got pearls to clutch and Karens to free. Oh my gosh, Kelly, are you going to watch me tomorrow night? Don't do it. Don't do it. Look the other way. Okay. We'll watch it afterwards. I can't see it. I won't watch it, but I'm going to have my pearls. I might do affirmations in my bathroom. Shall I get a sticky note? Stop. I don't know. But I've got to get right with this. I've got to be like, you're Kimmy. You can do this. Instead of being like, I all of a sudden freeze, small deer in headlights. I can't figure it out where I'm going. But I love you. Thank you so much. Her name is Lola. She was a good dog. That timeline needs to be in evidence. Lola, agreed. And Hank's gaslighting methodology. I am obsessed still with your handle and with your silver locks. Kerry screwed the pooch. She completely proved conspiracy. Agreed, babe. Totally agreed. Ash Ash Axiom gifted one Nurse Kim membership non-consensually to the world. And another one, Ash. Are you doling these out like ones at Centerfold on a Thursday night? Oh, stop it. I appreciate you. And Tons of Fun 911 says also, why is this trial the first time we're ever hearing about the whole kit and caboodle of crotch goblins in the car going to and fro Hank's house? Lank's house. Well, Tons of Fun. I knew that. I knew that there was one kid, and it was Kerry because she's a talker. She's a real talker. But I thought it was weird that, like, why is the very next day, Jen McCabe just left 2 of her children at Mr. and Mrs. O'Keefe's house? Oh, on January 30th? Like, listen, I might want like some time to process my shit, and I'm gonna not need old family friends' kids at my house. That seems a little odd to me, but I digress. Oh, and Mary Malarkey, my mother, to me and Petty Paralegal, retired Sergeant Peter Murphy said everyone is a suspect until they are ruled out, separated, and interviewed. Mary Malarkey, that's because he is our king. And that's also like policy and procedure of the Canton PD. They wrote it in the damn audit. How rude. And Jessica Pinky Mingo. Oh, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member, Lovey. I love your name too. And Histrionic Hank said AJ referred to Proctor as a cancer running throughout this investigation. The other cancer is Jen Mack. Ooh. Oh. And To Making a Count says RICO, conspiracy, homicide, accessory are just a few applicables for this whole law enforcement, DEA, Canton folk clique. Look at that dog. What's that dog's name? Is she a Bianca? Bianca with a bow. I love it. I agree, babe. ShamWow says usually defense lawyers, when losing, will always ask questions that end in no to help the jury. Spanky is playing this. ShamWow, I noticed that. Oh, that's how I would end my questions. You know that. I'd say, I'd say, what do you think about that? Oh, and I'd help the jury. Just saying. Nurse Kim School of Law. Armor of Alessi says, I have told my husband if he's ever in a frantic search to find me, even if I'm alive, he can leave his damn shoes on. Armor of Alessi, I love that. I would also have to leave mine on. Okay. Like, let me just do me when I'm trying to find you. Thank you. Let's not worry about our footwear. Kerry Roberts didn't know. Thank you, ShamWow again. Says Kerry Roberts didn't know Jen until this day. Now they're besties. Is she going to the first to sing? Oh, I don't know. Who will be the first to sing? Edie Perry says Kerry followed JMC into Karen's car, back to Meadows, then to Fairview, and she did not notice the taillight. Back to Meadows and Fairview. Did she not notice the taillight? She did. She said that she noticed it when she was driving behind them on their way back when Jen was driving and Jen was driving, Karen was in the passenger seat, and she says she first noticed it, babe, when they were on their way back to One Meadow. And Stephanie says unintentionally, just like Sarah Boone. And wasn't that a terrifying case? Oh, justice for Jorge. And I Gotta Know said, who cleans the dirt off that fan? I'd like to say Jim McDermott. Okay. And what does he do with it? He also buys the products from where? Amazon Prime, when he is in an ambient haze. The word is bitter, Peggy. Oh, I'm sad. And Lady Zelda Kelly said, "You just made my century. Love you." Lady Zelda Kelly, and I love you. Thank you. You've made my millennia. And QB MOAs has become a consensual Nurse Kim member. I appreciate you, Lovey. Just hang out for a month and then say, "See you later, lady." Megan Easton says, "Nurse Kim roasts are officially my favorite roasts." Megan Easton, I love you. And Karen reads, "Sofa King Innocent." Oh, so fucking innocent. I was thinking we had a sofa store. You are an absolute treasure, smart and pretty too. Stop it. You are. Don't make me clutch my pencils. And Team Wicked Smart versus Pure Wicked, thank you so much, Lovey, said, "Do you think the various head brain injuries are better explained by John being kicked in the head by jackbooted thugs rather than just punched?" Well, I would think, babe, that the brain injuries would be from multiple blows, but the fatal blow was right to the back of that right occiput in his cranium. Okay. So kick, I would expect to see something from boots and patterns, but an object like a hammer, like, the back of a hammer, like that thing that goes like this, like the thing like that for the back. Like, and I'm not saying that. I don't know. I don't know anything, but I'm just thinking like with like brute force and that. I mean, there's ways that like there had to have been something, because a fist, nothing could have caused that other than an object or a projectile on a ground. And Sherry Mack says, "What if Higgins wasn't the first one to arrive to 34 Fairview? What if he pulled up right after Ryan left, either behind Karen after she pulls away?" Oh, like meaning what, babe? Like, well, what if? Well, we could work that out. Let's work that out later together. Judge huffs a lot. Thank you so much, Kim. You are my little sister. All good. This trial literally gives me a stroke, and I don't want you to have a stroke. And like I said, we need to do goat yoga together. He was warm and dead before he was cold and dead. Oh my gosh, I gotta know. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. My nurse, look at you. You're a nurse. You're a nurse. Are you a nurse practitioner? What are we? I forgot. I know you're medical. He was warm and dead before he was cold and dead. We have to put that somewhere. I'm putting it in. Oh my gosh, should we say it on court TV tomorrow? May I use it? I gotta know. If Vinny says something, can I say he was warm and dead before he was cold and deceased? Stop it. I'm starring it. I'm keeping it starred. Thank you. And ShamWow says, "Why have many super chats? Why have my super chats not been read? I'm so sorry. I have only seen one in the last hour by someone else. We all want to support. I love you so much, but I do not want to show, but why do not show our comments and read questions? I'm so sorry, ShamWow. I suck at this. And I feel bad like to be saying something and then stopping to read super chats. How should I do that? How can I do this better? How can I work with you? Because maybe it's not good to read them all at the end either. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm sorry. I'll work on it. I promise. You just let me know how it should work. Or like what would be, I don't know how everyone else does it, and they make it look like seamlessly. But then I'll get sidetracked. You know me. I'll go on a tangent, and then I won't ever get to where I was going. I barely get there now. Oh, but I really appreciate you. And No Shrinking Violet said, "I value your insight. Can I email you? I don't see an email address." Lovey, that is legalnursekim@gmail.com. And you can absolutely. And Yvette says, I just love you. I love you. I can't wait to see your face again on Court TV. It's the only way I can stomach it. And Melanie Little, gorgeous beauties clutching and clenching with you. I am obsessed. Melanie killed it. But of course she would, because she is the smartest and the prettiest and the queen of us all. So I will try to not make us like look bad tomorrow, but I assume if you're asked, say yes, take the opportunity and try to at least bring a positive perspective for us. Thank you so much. And hello, Lala. Kim, I love watching with you. My heart aches, and your takes are so spot on. When you were talking about how people react during SI, all I could think was of Noah Khan's song, Call Your Mom. How blessed your patients are to have you. Stop it. Oh, Lala. That means a real lot to me. And, I sometimes was told, even when I was little, like I was too sensitive, but it really has come in handy with my profession and my vocation and my calling. And like, I'm a little bit much and I feel very deeply, but I can't really change it. And I feel like to have a like acuity of knowing when you're dealing with another human being, it's the most profound relationship we have, right? And it's like to be able to see somebody and like just pick up and know they're like from their nonverbal cues or what they need from you. It's just to maybe sit. Like I can just pick up what we need in the moment. And it's been very helpful in mental health and like the medical patients that also have a mental health component. So thank you so much. That means the world to me. And Reese says, yes, had Karen not started kicking, Kerry would have kept driving and Jen would have never told her to stop. Thank you, love. And live, laugh, Lorazepam. Okay. Okay, what could mine be? Viva la Valium. Or no, what's another good one? Oh, I don't even know what. Bitchy benzodiazepam. Sorry, I'm delusional. I'm so happy so many new eyes are on this. Free Karen Reed. Absolutely. Live, laugh, lorazepam. And PTSD healer says, just like first trial, I'll wait for the defense. I feel Higgy's 2.0 testimony will make these videos fade. And for the love of Jesus, let Arca survive. This one's for you, PTSD healer. There he is. He's got our back. He is with us always. Boop. Who put Jesus in a boom? It was me. But that's where he likes to be. Okay, babe. And I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do this. It says, my pick says it all. John O'Keefe's head injury. Thank you so much, Lovey. And, oh, I see that that's a weight bench. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay. I pick things up. I put things down. Listen, lovies, I love you so much. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for being here till tomorrow. I'm sorry. Are we here till tomorrow? We shall not do this long of streams ever again. I apologize, but we had to talk. Okay. I'm going to try to keep it on like the tracks and keep it going. But tomorrow, I believe they're doing the purview in the morning, and then they're going to be doing at least, I think it's going to be getting into the blood alcohol content, because he said Dr. Fowler is going to be, he is Hank. I'm talking like we hang out on Tuesdays. Hank Brennan, first of his name, pencil clutcher extraordinaire, said that Dr. Fowler will be there, and he's the one who does all of the testing at at Good Sam, or he's going to go through protocol and stuff. So that should be from 11 on. Okay. And until then, I wish you have the best sleep ever. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Thank you for answering my FaceTime. You are my best friends from out of town. Good night, lovies.